Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Fife, which is just next to where I'm from in Clackmannanshire here in Scotland, and we've got another brewery who I've never tried anything from, so I'm really interested to have a go at this beer, and I always enjoy doing these reviews for breweries in Scotland that are really just starting up. So for this one we are going to go to Cowdenbeath, like I said, and we're trying my first beer from Beath Brewing. So this one is called the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee, named of course after the Glory Hammer song. Glory Hammer of course was founded by Chris Bowes, who is the founding guy of Alestorm, but this one is an IPA. I think you can term it an Imperial IPA, and it comes in at 7.4% ABV, so it should be really nice. This one's got Citra, Mosaic and Equinox in it, so it should be a really pretty nice beer, so definitely looking forward to this one. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So as I always do, I'll tell you a very brief little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I'll do in the future from Beath Brewing. I do have another one of their beers to review for you soon. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Scottish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Beath Brewing then before we taste the beer. So Beath Brewing were founded back in 2016 by Ian McGrath, and Ian had been a home brewer for a good 5 or 6 years before he officially started the company, and he produced a 4% radio which was called Are You With Me, and this was for the Fife Camera Festival, and it actually won the festival, and it was crazy. This was really impressive because at this point the brewery was little more than 6 weeks old. It was really just crazy how well that this beer went down, and since then he's just been experimenting with lots of different things. So he brews his beers basically in his garage. I think he only produces maybe around 50 litres a time or something like that, but the beers are very, very local. I got this one at my little beer store along in Crossgates, just out to the east of Dunfermline, so a really, really nice place to go and get some craft beers. Lots of different selections in there as well, so you can find the Beath Brewing beers there, and they are pretty good. I've heard a lot of people saying really good things about these beers, so I'm definitely looking forward to having a try of this one. But that's all the information I have on the brewery just now. I'll put their Facebook page and their website and things in the description for you below. Do make sure and give them a like if you're watching from the local area, and if you get the chance to try some of their beers, have a go at them and see what you think for yourself. But that's all you need to know about them. We'll get on to tasting this beer itself. So yeah, as I mentioned to you, this one is a 7.4% IPA. It says on the side here it's a double IPA, so doubled the malt, doubled the hops, Citra, Mosaic and Equinox hops, tropical citrus fruit aromas, creamy richness from the oats and selection of malts. Greg's Beer Burp has a great story about the unicorn, but it's from a fantasy metal song. Sorry, Greg. So yeah, that was one of the things. Probably the reason that Glory Hammer actually used this the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee. Well, one, it's ridiculous, and Chris Bowes from Alestorm and stuff, he is just mental basically. But the unicorn is actually the national animal of Scotland, just for those of you who are actually watching from out with, because I know some of you guys in America and Sweden and things like that will actually be watching. So yeah, just really cool to find this one. You can see the label on this really is very, very simple, but as I say, the guy's basically just Ian's brewing in his garage pretty much. So maybe if it goes well, I'm sure it will, we'll start to see some other bottles and things like that from there. You can see on the back the Scottish Independent, what is it, the Scottish Independent Brewing Association. And yeah, they're all set. They're basically certified and all this, so it should be really nice. And it is best before. It's well within its best before date, this one. So without further ado, I guess let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. Like I said, 7.4% ABV IPA from Cowdenbeath and Fife, just along the road from me. And as you can see, and as you would expect from an IPA, or a double IPA as it is in this case, at the lower end of the double IPA scale, I would point out though, it's poured a really nice kind of hazy golden amber colour. You can smell some of these lovely fruity notes coming off the beer. There is a wee bit of sediment in there actually, and that's probably just because I've had it in the fridge for about 2 or 3 days. It certainly didn't have that when I put it in the fridge right enough, but there is a wee bit of sediment in there, but it's all natural, so to be honest, who cares. But yeah, a really nice kind of red, almost like a blood orangey amber colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy white head on this one. I'd maybe say it's more of a creamy colour rather than a frothy white one, I would say, but one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But I'll tell you something, right away you can smell the mosaic coming out of this one. It's the tangerines that are hitting me first with this beer. So yeah, you can smell a little bit of that oaty and kind of biscuity malt in this one. It's definitely got a kind of backbone, if you like, of a little bit of a bready oaty character. And it's got a bit of that biscuity sweetness as well. There's maybe a wee bit of graininess in there. You do tend to get a little bit of that grainy character from Scottish malt, and probably he has used Scottish malt in this, but likewise it could be German. I'm speculating, of course. It could be German or English right enough, but I think there's a wee bit of Scottish malt in there right enough. But of course the focus with it being a double IPA will be a bit more on the hops. But it's got a nice grassy note to it. It does smell really fresh actually. It's got a nice kind of fresh, light sort of, not quite lemongrassy, but it almost comes across as that. One of the notes you'll get out of the Equinaut hop is lime. Usually it's melon and lime from Equinaut, and that sort of limey character that this beer has, it does give you the impression that it's almost a sort of lemongrassy kind of thing, which is quite interesting. But definitely there's some mangoes in there from the Citra. Citra always gives you this really nice mango, sometimes passion fruit note. You often get a little bit of lychee or something like that out of it as well. But you can definitely smell the tangerines from the mosaic too. The mosaic is really, really easy to pick up when you get used to the tangerine notes. And you can definitely pick that up in this. So mangoes, tangerines, a little bit of melon I would say, but there's a good bit of limey character coming out of the aroma as well. And that almost gives you this kind of lemongrassy thing. It doesn't smell too sharp and too floral, which is quite interesting. It does lean a little bit more towards the grassy side of things. But yeah, it does smell really quite nice, and pretty much what you'd expect from a double IPA right enough. But as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of your beers before you actually have a taste of them. But let's get stuck into this one now. So this is the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee, named after the Glory Hammer song. The Scottish, I think they're Scottish and Swiss members in this band, the Scottish Swiss metal band. Have a listen to them if you haven't already. I'll put the link to the song in the description below. But let's get stuck into this one. Slàinte, Ska. Yeah, I have to admit, I do quite like that. That's a really nice beer. What I'll say about this one, it's not at the freshest it's been. I can tell that a little bit just because of the way the malts and stuff, the malts and things are coming out. I'm reviewing this one for you, and I'm filming this review in October 2010. I bought this beer maybe about 7-8 weeks ago, so it will be just getting towards the edge of its freshness, but it does have all the things you would want. It's not at the freshest, it could be though, but it's definitely still got a lot of character to it, I'd say that about it. But yeah, that's really pretty nice. I mean, to be quite frank with you, if this brewery started back in 2016, if Ian McGrath had started this brewery back in 2016, if he can produce a beer of that quality in that space of time, great stuff, to be quite honest. If that, you know, if you produce this beer on a big scale, on the scale of like say Tempest or like Fallon Brewing or something like that, it wouldn't be out of place. It really wouldn't be out of place with those stands. Those, to be honest, those are probably two of the best breweries you're going to find in Scotland these days. This beer wouldn't be out of place up there with those. But yeah, really nice this one. So just as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate a little bit before you start analysing it too much. But yeah, with this one you can feel a little bit of that sort of grainy character that I was talking about from the malt base. It does have a little bit of a bready grainy base to it. On top of that, right in the middle of your palate, you can pick up a little bit of a caramelly sweetness. There is a little bit of biscuit in there as well, and when you progress a bit further into the aftertaste, you can pick up a little bit of the oaty smoothness there, but the graininess does start to push its way out a little bit more. So the malt base on this one is actually it's quite interesting, but of course when it's an IPA, a double IPA I should say, that's where the hoppy side of things is where the interest should lie with this one. So yeah, in the back corners of the palate then, there's a little bit of earthiness there. That'll be coming from the mosaic. Mosaic always gives you a little bit of earthiness just in the back corners of your palate, but then as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, that kind of almost spicy floral aromatic characters just sitting there. You can feel that as you come right along the sides of your palate. As you go round the front curve of the tongue, there's a little bit of a, there's, how do you say, a bit of a lighter kind of almost lemongrassy character coming out of the beer, which is interesting. But yeah, it's really nice just how everything goes together in this one. But yeah, it's got that lighter grassy note, although at the same time it does have a little bit of that kind of spicy floral element to it as well, and you'll feel that as the beer mellows out a little bit. It just pushes its way out, but then just behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you'll get these kind of fruity esters coming out of the beer. I can feel there's a wee bit of grapefruit that just underpins it, but as the beer mellows out a bit, you do start to get the mangoes and the tangerines coming out from both the Citra and from the Mosaic, and the melon in there as well is making it a little bit more juicy. The melon, of course, will come from the Equinot. But it's just interesting how everything goes together in this one. And you've seen how long it is since I've taken a sip of this beer. As you progress into the aftertaste, you start to get the likes of the lychees, the sort of lemon limes, and almost a little bit of a kind of pineapple-y note as well. I always found the Mosaic can give you a little bit of a kind of pineapple-y note in the aftertaste of the beer, and you can start to pick that up a little bit with this one. But yeah, it's certainly really quite nice, this. If you get the chance to try it, have a go at it. I don't know how often he brews it, if it was a one-off brew or exactly what it was. But I mean, it's, as I said, this bottle, I guess, is about 7 or 8 weeks old, and it's still pretty damn good. It's pretty fresh. It still feels like it's pretty fresh. So, you know, if it, hopefully by the time you're seeing this review, I'm not sure when it'll be, but you know, it's pretty damn good. If he does it again, have a go at this beer, because it is really, I would say, pretty nice, and it's up there with some of the IPAs, like for example Platform C from Fallon Brewing. That's probably one of the kind of freshest IPAs, the kind of big flavoured American style IPAs that you're going to find in Scotland. This one wouldn't look out of place next to that. I think that's fair to say about this one. So what I would say about this brewery, on the basis of the taste of this beer, I do hope that he scales up a little bit and goes for it, because I think with his recipes seem, on the basis of this one, the recipe seems pretty strong. So there's no reason why he couldn't get up there and compete. But really, really nice beer, this one. He's using great hops as well, 3 really well known American aroma hops and things. It comes out really, really well. Pardon me. Yeah, getting a cough, of course, it's annoying. But yeah, really nice beer, and I can't compliment that enough. For a beer that's been brewed in somebody's garage and a brewery that's just over a year old, you know, you have to just say thumbs up to that. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I would say mid-bodied. Carbonation is actually quite nice on this one. It does have a little bit of that kind of refreshing quality to it. It's got a little bit of a prickle to it. It's got a quite oily mouthfeel to it, which is quite nice as well. That suits the fruitiness of the beer. A good bit of hoppy bitterness. Nice little bit of malty sweetness as well. And that's balanced out by a little bit of an almost kind of slightly spicy note from the malt grains as well, but then there's a nice little complement of juicy fruit as well. But overall, everything in this beer goes together really well, and just to sum it up, it's a really nice IPA, and I do hope on the basis of this beer that he starts to scale up his production, because, you know, that, as I say, that beer wouldn't look out of place with the likes of Brave New World from Tempest, or the likes of Platform C from Fallon Brewing as well. It's just really nicely done. So yeah, big thumbs up to Ian for this one, and I hope that the beer production goes really well, because he's produced a really nice ale with this one. So yeah, there's not much more you can say about this than that. So the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee from Beath Brewing, my first try of one of their beers, and I have to say I've been quite impressed with that one. I do have a coffee porter, or a macchiato porter or something like that to review from these guys, so you will see me reviewing the other end of the scale from them. And my voice is starting to go, but you will see me review a dark beer from these guys fairly soon. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you have tried it yourself. Let me know what your favourite beers from Beath Brewing have been already, and let me know if there's any new interesting things coming out as well. But it's been really cool to try this one for you. Like I always say, I like introducing you guys to some of these really small Scottish breweries that are just taking off, but Ian's done a great job with this one, and best of luck to him for with the future with his brewing exercise, because he's done a great job of this. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you check out all the links in the description below, and I'll catch you very soon with more Beath Brewing reviews. Cheers!